Miles Sanders has turned in, for me, from being a dude to the guy. He has a chance on being somebody really good. If you think Tony, guys, would this be a fair comparison? I think Miles Sanders has all the same talent as Tony Pollard. Is that fair? That's how you win a ball game. That's how you take control of your destiny. Good afternoon on a football Monday. It's Big Sills here on the National Football Show. Taking care of business. I was just talking with Xander about how the National Football League is gauged, how a team is gauged, how a player is gauged. This is a results business. Nobody cares at all in any way whatsoever about method on how you got to being a champion. Nobody's going to sit down and dissect that crap. This all comes down to winning ball games. That's exactly what happened on Sunday. Listen, I hated how the game started with all those passes. Still, the Eagles now have won 6 of their last 8 ball games. They have completely turned this train wreck around, and now they're in the 7-hole, and they've taken care of business in the NFL playoffs. It's been a great story. It's been an absolutely spectacular turnaround. The football team is now scary. We got a couple topics here that we're going to bang off of you here. First and foremost, man, before we get going, I want to wish everybody a great holiday. We still got the New Year's coming up here this weekend, but I hope everyone had a great Christmas. And how could you not now? You know, you win 2 games like that in a span of 5 or 6 days, and now you're sitting at 8-7, and you've been fighting for your playoff lives the entire year. You've won 6 of the last 8, like I said. And now you're in contention to have a playoff game. Pretty damn impressive. Pretty damn impressive. Here's the topics. By the way, I see everybody coming aboard. If you're new to the program, I like to say this too. Please start the show off by hitting the like button. Thank you so much. You're on this Football Monday. And then we're going to get to all your thoughts. And happy holidays to everybody out there as well. Who's been more responsible for this Eagle turnaround? If you had to pick somebody that was responsible for this turnaround, who is it? The coach? Coach has done a whale of a job. Coach is now a candidate for NFL Coach of the Year. How about the D coordinator is now being thought of as a potential head coaching candidate, according to Adam Schefter. Jonathan Gannon is now going to be considered an NFL head coaching candidate. How about the way that team is played? You got a top 10 football team on that side of the ball, the Eagles. What's been the difference? Jalen? Sirianni? Jonathan Gannon? What's been the turnaround? And the other topic that I want to throw off of you guys. Has Jalen finally passed his audition as the future quarterback of the Eagles? You know, it's funny. Xander just asked me that question, and I paused again. And if I'm pausing, I guess I'm still not there yet. I guess I'm still not there. As to the first topic, who's responsible? I got to think it's Sirianni. Nick Sirianni's responsible for this turnaround. He coaches Jalen hard. He's got a fundamental on what he wants to do. He makes mistakes. He made mistakes in that game against the Giants in the way he started that game. Throwing the ball, you don't need to do that. I don't care about down the line what has to happen when it comes to if you're going to be a playoff team. You got 60 minutes in front of you. You can't just throw your helmet on the field right now and go, you're going to win a ball game. Actually, nobody in the NFL can do that this year. Nobody's a dominant team. There's dominant quarterbacks, but there's not dominant teams. I think Sirianni's responsible for this. Stops with him. He's the head coach. And again, for Jalen, has he passed the audition? This is the one I'm stuck on. This is the one that I am stuck on. Has he passed the audition? I was going to say yes, but then guess what? When Xander asked me that question, I paused. And if I'm still pausing, that means I'm not sure. And I've got to be fair to myself. Look, I love the kid. See, when you start that conversation too, that has nothing to do with whether or not he's the guy. I like the guy. He's really smart. He gives great answers on the press conference. He does all the intangible things. It's got nothing to do with being asked a question like Xander just asked me. Is he the guy or not, Sileo? Yes or no? Don't tell me how much you like the kid. He's right. Is Aaron Rodgers the guy? You bet your ass he's the guy. Tom Brady the guy? You bet your ass he's the guy. Is Josh Allen the guy? You bet your ass he's the guy. Am I there right now with him? Jalen Hurts. If I have to pause, I'm not. Okay? Sirianni's responsible for this. All right. Guys, if you're new to the program, here's how we do it. By the way, if I missed some of your comments, and by the way, if you want to repost them, please do it. And if you're new, just sit back and watch how I do this. Look, man, I got a boatload of stuff here, man. We have so much to hit on, man. How about Carson Wentz's performance on Saturday? Hey, by the way, the Colts are 9-6. That was a heck of a throw back in the end zone. There were some wincing throws that Wentz made. I got it. But they're 9-6. 9-6. That's another storyline. If I miss some of the comments, just repost them. What I do is we go back and forth. You guys are part of the program. Bottom of the hour, Gary Cobb's going to join us. Rashad says this, is Trevor Lawrence the guy? No, but with the number one overall selection, the asset that I wasted, you bet your ass I'm going to give him every opportunity to see if he is. G-Quest, if we beat Washington, okay, he's got to be considered. Nick says, I got to see more consistency. Priceless, how you doing, brother? Thanks for coming aboard. Big Chris, 8-7 and into wild card spot. Let's go. Chalk it up, Philly. Wentz made some pretty good plays over the weekend. And that was a recognizable game that you have to give him credit for sure. Paul says we should be 9-6. I know that giant game in the Meadowlands. I told you this guy still may come back to haunt us. Ernest says, got to see Gannon against a good quarterback. Great call. That's like telling me I got to see the Cowboys versus a pretty good football team instead of the teams from the NFC East, right? Everybody wants to give the Cowboys love. They beat a Washington team that has been decimated with COVID. Michael says you can see Hurts' arm developing right in front of us. Rashad says, then give Jalen the opportunity like you would Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence was the number one overall selection. This is his first season in the league. I'm not going to dismiss a guy who was the number one pick. I'm not. I only owe Jalen Hurts $3 million, okay, over the next 3 years. I don't owe him anything. It's not the investment of the $30 million that I made in Trevor Lawrence down in Jacksonville. Paul says we might play Dallas last game and in the playoffs. Yes, you would have that flip-flop game. You would play at the linked final game of the regular season, and then the Cowboys can end up getting you in the opening round of the playoffs because as of right now, the Cowboys are the 2 seed. Jade says this, just let Hurts develop. Has Jalen passed his audition? Michael says if Hurts was coming into the draft this year, he'd be a top 5 pick. Would he? I think he'd be a top 25 pick. I don't think top 5. You see Josh Allen talent with Jalen Hurts? I don't. William says, what are we going to do with Miles? He's hurt again. We're going to ask Gary Cobb that the impact of Miles Sanders being out is going to hurt. Miles Sanders has turned in, for me, from being a dude to the guy. He has a chance on being somebody really good. If you think Tony, guys, would this be a fair comparison? I think Miles Sanders has all the same talent as Tony Pollard. Is that fair? Tony Pollard and Miles Sanders, I don't see any difference. I think if you gave Tony Pollard Zeke's carries, I think he'd be a 1,000-yard rusher also. Sanders is out for Sunday. That hurts. And by the way, guys, don't think you're going to roll Washington. They were embarrassed on national television last night on the scoreboard, and they were embarrassed nationally with that fight on the sidelines. They're going to go into that game, and that's going to be their playoff game, trying to knock you out of the postseason. Washington wants to play spoiler. Don't let them. Don't let it be a trap game where you think Washington's just going to lay down. They're not going to lay down. Daryl says, yes, fair. I think he's Tony Pollard, Miles Sanders. And by the way, I'm not saying when it comes to physical skills, I'm talking about ability. They look like the same guy to me. Very elusive inside the tackles. They're hard runners. Nobody expected anything from them. He's also like that kid Carson in Seattle, Miles Sanders. X says, might be a trap game. Right. Don't let it be. Don't let it be. Big Chris says we embarrassed them before Dallas. Not last night. Not like last night. 56 points being put on you in that rivalry. And then you had a fight on the sidelines. Guys, they had their shit handed to them last night. East Canham says, I'm starting to see Hurts stand in the pocket. Hey, let's be to the point here. The Eagles took control of that game in the second half because of Hurts throwing the ball. Okay, stats in the ball game. Total yards, 324 to 192. They ran the ball for 130 yards. I hated the penalties. 11 for 79. Hurts was 17 of 29, 199, 2 touchdowns, 1025. Devontae Smith, spectacular catch in the back of the end zone. 5 for 80 and a TD. Quez Watkins, 3 for 43. Dallas Goedert, too, by the way, I think has the ability to be a really great tight end. But, bro, you got to have better hands in key situations on third down. I see some drops out there sometimes that I don't get. Kurt says they owe us Doug gave them the ticket to the postseason last year. I like that. Ernest says Sanders is history prone. That could be. The Smith catch was beautiful. It was. I thought it was a TD too when I saw him drag his foot, and then they ended up giving it to him. Then again, they ended up giving him what he earned. In the NFL, you're not handed anything. Nothing's given to you. Should have been 22 at 29, 5 drops hurt us too. Gotta drop some passes, doesn't he? He does. He drops some passes. Akhtar says, Hurts needs a full season. He's having a full season. This is a full season with Sirianni. And wait a minute here. I think this is defining the guy. Guys, remember where this football team was at the beginning of the year? We were shitting all over the quarterback and the head coach and the defensive coordinator. Okay? We were all over these guys. Too predictable. Jalen's not a pocket guy. He's a little reckless with the ball. I thought he was a little reckless with the ball a couple times in that game against the Giants. And again, I keep getting asked the question. It's funny. Not just Xander, but everyone asks me the question. Do you think Jalen Hurts has earned the ability to be the future of the team? I pause when I think about it because I'll tell you what makes me pause. My affection for the guy, his likability. That's what you see in him. I like him. Ernest says Hurts' success is going to depend on how good Sirianni is. I think Sirianni's been the difference in the turnaround. Because of his lack of arm strength, it's all going to come down to the type of plays that he constructs for him, just like the same way Sean Payton did for Breeze. That's actually a spectacular take. Rashad says, all that's happening is the Eagles are growing as a football team. Let them grow. Okay? South Philly says Hurts is a Pro Bowl alternate, period. It's a great accomplishment. It's a great accomplishment. It's a great accomplishment. Oh, hey, Dante. Lane Johnson getting that touchdown. I thought it was awesome. Hey, and for the record, how is that guy not in the Pro Bowl? How is Lane Johnson not in the Pro Bowl? Oh, I know why. He missed those games, right? He missed those games. Okay, that's why he's not in the Pro Bowl. Remember something, guys. Players vote on that. Okay? Okay, players vote on that. I showed you a ballot before, right? Here. We all get these. And this is a ballot that every player gets in his locker. NFL ballot. This has been handed out since the beginning of time. What year is that for me? This is is it say 97 or 1987? Every player gets a ballot. Big Sills was on this ballot, as you could see. I saved it because I'll never be on an NFL Pro Bowl ballot ever. That's one of my biggest achievements, too, by the way, being on an NFL Pro Bowl ballot. So the players didn't vote Lane in because he missed those games. Yeah, mental issues. I know. Dave, that's a great question. Dan, how long does it usually take typically for an O-line to gel? Dude, that's the toughest unit to gel. You know, defensive guys are easier. That's why you see them younger. Offensive line, that's why you see the majority of those guys in their late 20s. There's more technique in the O-line than there is on defense. Offensive linemen take a long time to gel. Look at Trent in Chicago. Trent had a Pro Bowl season, and they called him off of mothballs, right? Before he ended up getting hurt, he was playing some pretty damn good ball for the Chicago Bears. That's why you see these guys. Trent Williams out in San Francisco, they're all older guys, 33, 34. Takes a long time to develop that offensive line. Andrew says, Hurts and Sirianni scare me. Well, those two guys are doing a hell of a job. Dave says, I think Kelsey is a Hall of Famer. Dave, I'll say this to you. Beginning of the year, I laughed. As usual, Philly fans prove it to be a point where you guys are right once again. Okay? He's a spectacular football player. Okay? Spectacular player. Spectacular. Okay? I'll tell you something else, too. You see a spirit in the Eagles. Okay? These guys are all rowing in the same direction. You know, Seth Joyner was tweeting, and he said something right out of the gate. I've got to tell you, man, Sirianni scared me, too. Those passes at the beginning of the game, it resembled what they did in the Meadowlands, and I'm like, why are you doing this? It's almost like he can't help himself. Then he realized, wait a minute, let's get back. I think the Eagle front office hates the identity. Let's throw this out there, guys. Do you think the Eagle front office hates the identity of this team this year? Timothy says, Dan, are you familiar with Eagles running back Jason Huntley? They may call him up from the practice squad. That I am not, my friend. John says, how do you think Jalen would perform if he didn't have to prove himself every game? John, every new quarterback has to prove himself every single game. Until you become Brady or Aaron Rodgers, you have to look at Baker Mayfield. Over 60 starts. Over 60 starts. Without question, Dan, they are livid with our running the rock. You guys think that really? Doesn't it seem, guys, Joe Burrow throws, and smile. You don't think that Howie and everybody in the front office see Joe Burrow throwing for 525? Do you think that Howie Roseman and the owner of the Eagles hates this team's identity? Because it just seems they try to do whatever they can to put that round peg in a square hole, and it aggravates me. I'm tweeting out at Dan Sileo Show. I'm doing this, guys. What are you effing doing? Why would you? You're on the cusp of running a team off the field, which they ended up in the second half. And you know what? I think this bleeds into the fact why the Eagles are so productive in the second half. Is because you know what they do? They finally surrender the fact that he's not accurate enough. And this is why maybe I still pause. But don't they understand? The more you start the run game, the more you develop the run game, the passing game will come in the second half. Dave, I'd rather run the ball. Dave, when you run the ball, you run the clock out. You limit touches with the quarterback on the other side. And if you get people like Matthew Stafford or Aaron Rodgers or Dak Prescott or Tom Brady in the opening round of the playoffs, you got to be able to keep those guys on the sidelines. You got the formula to do it. You got the formula to do it, man. Mayfield is garbage. I've been saying it to you the whole time. This guy's got a high school quarterback's mentality. I can't stand that guy. Okay, the progressive commercials, I don't mind those things. Every guy should make $1. Okay? But you know what he is? This guy's got Tom Brady's fame and not his ability. That's who Baker Mayfield is. Baker Mayfield, NFL like image, but he doesn't have the ability to fit the bill for it. Big Chris says the Eagles could be scary in the playoffs. Yeah, they run the ball. Timothy says, hey, Jason Huntley, I have not seen him run. Smile, I saw that, man. How about that throw in the back of the end zone by Foles, huh? Hey, how about all Eagle quarterbacks won over the weekend? Nick Foles, Carson Wentz, and Jalen Hurts. Guys, how do you feel about that? All three guys you had in your quarterback room, okay? Well, you didn't have Foles there, but, okay? At one time or another, 3 quarterbacks in the last 3 years that were Eagle quarterbacks. Oh, by the way, I'm going to ask you guys something. I think I asked you this before. Did Rasul Robinson piss somebody off? Who did he piss off in Philly? Who did Rasul Robinson piss off in Philly? Rasul Douglas, excuse me. Thank you, Xander. My bad. Who did Rasul Douglas piss off in Philly? Who did he piss off? Douglas. Okay? Who did he piss? They cut him, right? They cut him. He wasn't traded. They cut him. Howie cut him. That guy has changed the entire defense around for the Packers. I can't believe what I'm watching. Rasul Douglas is unbelievable. I'm going to ask Gary Cobb that question. It's coming up here in a second. Man, you imagine if you had that dude on your defense right now? Eagles have a top 10 defense. Did you know that statistically? All right. You guys have any questions for Gary Cobb from Fox 29 in Philly? Please make sure you ask him. Okay? We'll translate it to him. This is a great football Monday, man. Guys, you're 8-7. You're in control of your playoff destiny. We'll get to Gary Cobb next. You keep it right here on the National Football.